Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. This is Aneel from Steppe Gold Limited. We are a gold and silver producer listed on the main board of the Toronto Stock Exchange, ticker STGO, and on the OTCQX, STPGF. We're glad to be here to give another update after our last month's presentation. And obviously, feel free to send us any questions you have after this update. With that, please roll the video.
Hello, I'm Dennis Quaid. Today's investors are more concerned than ever about saving and planning for the future. As we're about to see, there are smart ways to make the money you earn today help prepare you for tomorrow.
Gold mining has brought great success and resources to countries all over the world for centuries and continues to be an extremely rich and viable economic investment.
Gold mining's been around for thousands of years. It's the original money. It's tried, it's tested, it's true, and it's undeniable. In periods of uncertainty, people flock to gold as a store of value. In the communities in which it's mined, it brings a lot of economic prosperity, allows people to upgrade their skill sets, brings GDP growth to areas that might not have that same opportunity otherwise.
Mining is the biggest employer in country, so it's created a significant amount of jobs in country, tax source for the government as well, and more importantly, I think education as well. It's created a lot of skilled labor force that's impacting generations to come. So it's certainly very meaningful and a big driver of the economy.
While it is relatively unknown to most people, Mongolia is a resource-rich country at a turning point in its history. Within the last few years, it has become the last frontier for large-scale gold mining projects, quickly improving economy and job opportunities.
Democratic Mongolia is only 30 years old. In the past 3 decades, our economy has quadrupled. Our current government, the Prime Minister and the President has been very supportive of foreign investments and developing of responsible mining industry. Our mining industry makes 1/4 of our economy, over 70% of foreign direct investment, and over 90% of our exports. Mongolia has full resources of coal, copper, gold, and iron ore, and many other minerals. 70% of our territories remain undiscovered to geological surveys, and mining license has been issued to only 1% of the territories.
Mining in years gone by had developed a reputation for exploiting local resources and not giving enough back to its host governments. We're no longer in that world. You can't be a proper listed mining company with all the disclosure and the obligations and not be a great partner, not take care of your host governments, your workforce, and give back to the communities. If you want to generate a return through gold mining and mining in general, you need a great mineral endowment and an environment which is supportive of unlocking that mineral wealth. And that's what we see in Mongolia. We're only seeing the start of the mineral potential in the country, and I think the government sees that potential, the host communities, and together we can unlock a lot of value for investors as well as for the country.
Gold is a historically safe investment for economic growth, and the industry boom in Mongolia is the proof.
We're glad you could join us today. I'm Dennis Quaid. See you next time.
Great. Well, as you can see from the video we presented, that was a short docuseries about our operation, about the country of Mongolia, which clearly is a mining jurisdiction, resource-rich country that's relatively underexplored, and you even get to see our operations that are currently in production. So we are a gold and silver producer today, as a reminder for any new investors. We've been producing from our heap leach operation since April 2020, and we're now expanding with a fully funded package of about $150 million US we announced in July into our sulfides, which will take our production to over 100,000 ounces a year for 12 plus years of mine life today, which is still growing. And that'll come online in 2025, towards the end of Q2 in 2025. So we're a producer that's expanding, and we've announced a funded package in July of this year without having to dilute our shareholders. So a very solid package that mitigated dilution. And us as a board of management team, we own close to 25% of the company today. We've been public since May 2018. I've never sold a share, and we buy on market as well. And you can see that through the insider buying even this year, significant amount. So board of management own close to 25% of the company. We are aligned with our investors. I think it's a very important fact. We like to mitigate dilution. We're in it for a much bigger game. Our team has built and executed in Mongolia previously. In 2011, sold another company called Hoodoo Coal for $500 million cash. So a jurisdiction we know very well, and we're now expanding and funded. It's a great opportunity for investors to look at projects like ourselves. We're now diversified with a new asset in Peru, another 2.5 million ounces we've added to our balance sheet. We're a circa 5 million ounce company today with a producing and expansion in Mongolia, production and expansion in Mongolia with a pipeline of opportunities in Peru to bring on oxides down the road as well as the sulfides over the next few years once our phase 2 of Mongolia is up and running and spinning off enough cash to not only pay back the debt for the expansion, but also to fund future growth. We have a solid base of institutional and family office investors. Fidelity Investments owns close to 6% of our company. Eric Sprott, the legendary precious metals investor, owns close to 11% of our company. Elliott and Triple Flag, as well as Lim Advisors out of Hong Kong. So a very solid group of investors, and I must say have all come in at higher prices and are highly supportive. That really is the opportunity for new investors to be able to come into a story that has some solid backers without the necessity to raise equity at these dilutive levels. If you look at our stock price when we started production in April 2020, not too dissimilar to where we are today, but we've executed. We've produced over 100,000 ounces profitably. So I think a lot more to come as the market recovers. So very quickly, we started the company in 2016, 2017 privately, went public in 2018, built our first mine after we went public and brought it online in 2020. We started with 1.2 million ounces in Mongolia. We're close to 2.5 million ounces today. Our reserves were 210,000 ounces when we started. They're at 1.7 million ounces on a gold equivalent basis today in Mongolia. And we're only down to about 350, 400 meters. So we moved very quickly. COVID and supply chain issues certainly slow the world down, and ourselves included. You can see that we're a very local team, as you should be. Our chairman and CEO is a local Mongolian. He really is the boots on the ground and manages all of the relationships, our operations in country, as you should, no matter where you're operating, whether it's in Africa, even in Canada, you have to be local. The more local you are, the more support you get, and we've shown that from within Steppe Gold here. Mongolia, as we highlighted from that video, is certainly a highly attractive jurisdiction today. It's resource rich, it's relatively underexplored, it's already home to world-class assets, mines, and discoveries with the Oyu Tolgoi mine. You're seeing a lot more coverage from other countries like US included who want to grow their exposure into the country in the mining space. France, Macron was in country in July, setting up more opportunities in the mining space. The Japanese, Koreans, the Germans are there, and a lot more interested. So I think certainly an area where it doesn't have violence or terrorism. We have a very supportive government. We're certainly in the right jurisdiction with a lot of opportunity to grow. We're an operator. We employ 350 locals, and we're doubling that workforce over the next 2 years. So really, what we offer in Steppe Gold today in Mongolia is a producing, generating cash flow, at about 25 to 30,000 ounces this year and next year, and tripling that production profile in 2025. That will be, circa 900 to 950 all-in cost per ounce we produce, but producing over 100,000 ounces. Now, that's a cash flow that could be similar to our current market cap. So a lot of upside from the expansion side that's fully funded. I want to, that's the amazing part here in all of this is we've been able to raise the capital to continue to construct phase 2, which we've already started. We've already installed our fixed crushing circuit, and now we're going to be completing camp expansion, final design engineering, and really next year will be the heavy year of construction on this phase 2 expansion while still being in production. And the beauty here, as I mentioned, is this asset is still growing. We've only drilled down to about 400 meters. So the initial 12-year mine life for phase 2 is all based on the deposits you see here, but not including the new drilling we've completed underneath the deposits. So these red blocks show new discoveries and new extensions underneath the current mine plan and the feasibility study. So a lot of room to grow. This is the fixed crushing circuit I mentioned that's already installed on site. So we're moving fairly quickly on our expansion over the next 18 to 20 months. Yet we still have a very highly prospective exploration license in the southwest of the country called the UK. Udamhundi, that's another project that's quite exciting, where Erdene Resources had a lot of success on the licenses. Joining us to the north and south, have over 1 million ounces, and I think they're tracking to 2 million ounces. So we're in a highly prospective area. Another opportunity down the road to fund from our own cash flow, more exploration in Mongolia, where there's other assets as well we'll look to tuck in. And last but not least is our Peruvian acquisition. We acquired the Tres Cruces asset, just over 2.4 million ounces, almost 2.5 million ounces, at a PEA level for just the phase 1. This is just the over 600,000 ounces of leachable oxides and sulfides. You already have an after-tax PEA of about 160 million US. So it's a highly robust project that we can build in a few years from our cash flow. So in a nutshell, that's the STEP update. We're producing, we're expanding, we're funded on the expansion, and we're growing across 2 jurisdictions with almost 5 million ounces in a pathway to grow our production profile to a couple 100,000 ounces over the next few years. Thank you very much for taking the time to get the Steppe Gold update.